Okay, so let me show you how this works. There's the dye, the cup, and the fabric. I'm going to put a little bit of the dye into the cup. Maybe a little more. Whoa, now we've got dye on the fabric. This is why I have so many towels. Okay, so that's the end I'm going to put in upward because there's already dye in the cup. Then I'm going to take a plastic fork, one of my favorite tools, and shove this down in the dye. See how it's coming up on the side? Okay. Now, because I would like to experiment here, I'm going to pour some plain soda ash right on top. This is my soda ash. It says no, meaning don't drink it. So take the lid off, because I always keep the lids on, and pour it so it's wet. Okay, see that? You can see the dry part is light and the darker part is wet. Now that's going to soak up the dye in a gradient fashion. Okay, you've seen me screen paint through the screens. This is simply discharge paste that I've screened through. Let's see, this screen that was made with water insoluble glue. Now I'm putting the iron on the discharge paste and it's pulling the dye out of the fabric. That's what discharge paste does. It discharges the dye. This is a highly textured linen, and I'm just letting the iron sit. You see it pulls the color out. That's where it sat longer. This is where it sat less, so I want to get that going a little more. And I'll show you when it's finished. Here's a new technique. I had worked on this piece earlier, and I painted on some bronze dots, as you can see there. Can't really tell they're bronze. How about that one? There you go. I wanted a stripe down the side, but I didn't have a frame that was big enough, so I just decided instead of putting masking tape on the frame, I would put masking tape down the length of the piece. And there you have it. So I'm going to take my handy dandy spatula right here. This is the one I have bonded with. Now it has discharge paste on it, so I'm going to wipe that off. And I'm going to put on dye and spread it down the open area between the tape. So here's the dye. I decided to use a little bit narrower spatula. And let's see what we get here. Take some of this dye. Pretty runny, but that's okay. I don't want too much because if it slaps over the sides of the tape, I'm going to have a problem. So I'm just going to put it on like that, all the way down, and then we'll go from there. Okay, here's the piece that I've just put the dye on. It's a rather long piece. It goes off the end, just a little bit though, of the ironing board. There it is. There it goes, all the way down the other end. Okay, here's a surface design technique for you. Wad up a piece of fabric soaked in soda ash and wrap it at your pleasure in yarn, and then dab on the dye, which I'm going to get from over here, with a sponge. I think I'll use the larger of the two. I'm dabbing it on because I don't want it to go through under the lines. I'm going to put some all over, and then I'm going to let it sit.